All right, this one for the city of Memphis. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. Disclaimer, I'm not a DJ.
I don't fuck with these cause they shady.
R.I.P. Dolph.
Baby, mama, she was in the street, so guess who raised me?
Chop it a little bit.
Right, couldn't get it from my mama, so I got it off the block. Couldn't get it from my mama, so I got it off the block. Couldn't get it from my mama, couldn't get it from my mama.
Pull up on me.
Get it from my mama, so I got it off the block. Been working
I'm not a DJ.
9 years old, I seen her get shot.
Damn. What's going on, y'all? Back here again with another podcast. I bet y'all wouldn't expect the number 18. I didn't give any forewarning or anything like that. I usually give a little indication that I'm doing a podcast, but not this time. Man, I watched that Bone Thugs and Harmony, and that's what most of this podcast is going to be. Bone Thugs versus 3 6 Mafia. That's going to be towards the end of the podcast. But yeah, I said I got to do another podcast. I'm inspired now. But I'm going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to start off with Dolph here, R.I.P. Dolph. Just what I thought about the situation, some things he probably could have did better, things like that. And also I'm going to talk about some social things, the Kyle Rittenhouse case. And those are only two things I'm really going to talk about. I'm going to keep the topics pretty concise this episode. But welcome to episode 18 of the Catch Up Podcast. Before I get started, always make sure to hit me up at YouTube/DJH Review for the video version. And also I am on Spotify, Apple, and all your favorite podcast audio formats. But before I get started, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Y'all know what to do. What she said. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get into this first topic here. We're going to start off with Dolph, R.I.P. Dolph. And yeah, man, I'm just going to go into, I guess, how I found out, like how everybody else finds out somebody dies these days is through Facebook, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I found out through Facebook. I was like, dang, Young Dolph got shot. And of course, it happened over there by Airways. I was nowhere near that area. I saw the T-dot signs that says traffic is slowed down that area. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to go that way. I have no business going that way anyway. I live on the other side of town. But anyway, yeah, a lot was going down in that area that day. So, but yeah, a real shot to the city of Memphis and another young rapper slain. And there's this weird pattern of rappers who just happen to have their masters intact, and they get killed. Mo3, I just started listening to Mo3. I am so slow, y'all. King Von, never really listened to him. Young Dolph, I wasn't really a big super fan of him, so I'm not gonna pretend like, oh man, I used to listen to Dolph. No, I didn't. I maybe know 3 songs. The one I just played, Preach, Get Paid, Royalty, and that's really it. I may know a couple features that he sung on, but for the most part, I wasn't just a big Dolph fan. I'm not originally from Memphis, so I'm just not Memphis like that. I just live here, to be honest, y'all. I'm be honest. I'm from Mississippi, but I did want to talk about where I thought he possibly went wrong. But before I get into that, let's just get into some of his merits. I do respect the way that he had this independent mindset, going through Empire and doing the distributing to them. Whether you want to make the argument, was that truly independent if you're signing a distribution deal, if you're not truly doing it all yourself, you know what I'm saying? But he had that Empire deal just like the rest of those rappers I just listed off beforehand. He did that. He turned down that $22 million major label deal or something like that. So I commend that as well. And, you know, get all the pie. So he was about that entrepreneurial mindset. He was buying up businesses and land and stuff like that. And he left a legacy for his children. So that's good as well. But those are his mirrors as far as I know. But as far as the music, there's going to be some detractors out there. I can't explain fully because I wasn't in his business like that, but I'm aware of his situation with Yo Gotti and Black Youngster. And there was talks of somebody's grandmama's house getting shot up in retaliation. I don't know what's true, what's not, all that stuff like that. But I know those dudes are going to have to lay low for a minute or something like that. I haven't heard anything from Yo Gotti or anything like that. Has anybody heard some from him? I don't know. You also have the cookie shop that was affected, that he went to get his cookies from. That already had been, I think, burglary or something before, and then this just escalated things. So I think they have a GoFundMe going on for Makeda's cookies. But yeah, sad situation that happened with everybody involved. But yeah, going back to my earlier point, I kind of got off topic a little bit, but I wanted to talk about the obvious that some people are going to bring up. Of course, his music wasn't lollipop at all. And matter of fact, he was involved with some beef beforehand, and that kind of leads me to kind of what I want to talk about as far as where he possibly went wrong. And I saw this video on Facebook. I got it pulled up now. El Barto Network on Facebook, and it's titled "The Mistakes Young Dolph Made Going Back to Memphis." Young Dolph gone at age 36. So I'll play a little bit of this, and then I'll kind of talk about it myself. So I'm going to start here. I might play this for like a minute or two.
Splash and the Soldier the Gang Spitter. First mistake Young Dolph made, rapping all his cars the same color, especially like a loud color. Ain't no wrong with rapping your car, but when you do it like camouflage or all red or all blue or real.
Now, I already agree with that. The camouflage, all the colors like that, you can easily be spotted. And I don't know, just a lot of rappers want to show off. I'm like, if you're gonna go out, it ain't nothing wrong with doing that. If you want to show off, if you got somebody following you, got some protection or something like that, then yeah. But if you're going out by yourself or with some light securities, I'm not aware of his security situation, but obviously it was very light. I would go out in something very inconspicuous. I don't know, go in a Nissan Altima or something. I don't know, but I don't think you want to ride around in a camouflage Lamborghini. I think that's the car, right? But going back into this,
loud color, and you got the beef that he got. Yeah, that's a mistake. You can't do that. That's a red flag. It can get you killed when you really got real beef in a city like Memphis, in a city like Chicago, in a city like Little Rock, Arkansas, Florida. You see what I'm saying? California. Now, Cali, being it's so big, you can maneuver and all that there, but people also can make phone calls, especially when you beefing with big dogs or the people you got beef with connected to big dogs. And it's the common mistakes that rappers be making. Y'all got to stop rapping y'all cars these loud colors. It's either white, silver. You know what I'm saying? You can have one car that's
bingo.
All that there, or you can just do one car like that. But when you do that there, you got to have 2 or 3 cars falling behind you. See, in this Dolph situation, he had too much pride, knowing it's like he didn't respect his enemies. It's like he didn't respect his enemies. They steppers, like his enemies got little steppers, or not saying that they even something to do that there. It's just like the little dudes that's around the neighborhoods, they want to put in work off the strength and then go back to the big dogs, be like, yeah, I did that there. Bless me. That's how it works. That way you ain't got no phone traces, no text messages, ain't talked to no phone, ain't been in no pictures with you or nothing. It's just a young dude that seen the opportunity and he took it, caught him slipping, and he just went ahead and did that there because he know he gonna get blessed for the work he put.
Right. But as far as who did it, I think it's that exact situation. I don't think it's been 100% confirmed. There's this, these Facebook social media warriors, investigators that claim they know and post a random person. This person may have did it. He did this video and he took this video down or something like that. It was some guy out there. But I don't think it's 100% confirmed who the killer was. But I think it was basically this situation. Nobody heavy, just some small time guy looking to, get blessed by the big dog, basically. Or maybe they just took it upon themselves. I don't like this dude, so let me go take him out. things of that nature. So we keep going.
Right, especially if he can prove that he really did that, because there'd be a lot of dudes that claim that they did that there just so they can get some money for that there. So I can't say in this situation right here it's really messed up that they did in real beef, he in real murder beef, or he in real beef that can get somebody killed or people that got shot, right? So yeah, I can't say it's messed up when you're a real gangster. It's only messed up when like XXX Tayshaun got killed, or you see what I'm saying, somebody like that get killed. But somebody like Young Dolph coming up in South Memphis, he's supposed to know better. He know better. He know how to move. He should have known not to go back to Memphis. You already won. You already became the independent dude that you claim to be. Yep. Turning down 20 million deals, platinum artist. You know, you getting 100.
Now, he just says something about basically going back to the hood. You made it. Should Young Dolph have went back to Memphis? You know, with this whole this question of, do rappers need to go back to the hood? I say rappers, not necessarily singers. The rappers are more likely to get into beef and stuff like that. So when you got beef on your hands, and Young Dolph was, you know, in a situation, wasn't necessarily an angel, and you know, he was still talking that stuff in his records. Let's not get it twisted. So that came back to bite him. So, and then he didn't have to take the proper precautions to protect himself if you are still going to keep the beef rolling. So, but yeah, going back to, do you need to go back in the hood? I mean, there's several reasons why people go back to the hood, or celebrities go back to the hood. Institutionalized, just can't get it out your system, right? You got to go back to the hood. And I think Master P once said, you can take me out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of me, something like that. And also, you got rappers like Dolph that want to go and give back, and that's commendable. But like I said, you still got these vultures out here that you got to watch out for. So you can go back, you can go give back to your hood. You can do that, but you got to take the necessary precautions to protect yourself at the same time. Definitely, if you know you're involved in beef. So you had that going on, but you know, there's several reasons why people go back to the hood per se. But personally, if I was a rapper, I don't know if I would go back to Memphis. But yeah, that's just me. But anyway, continue on.
The show, you start getting blessed and blessed more and more and more, and you still coming back to Memphis for what? In a car that everybody know, like the girl said in that video, everybody know you the only person in the city with this car. Memphis ain't that big.
Show link.
So everybody know it's you. You can have dark tint, but they know it's you, because you're going to roll the window down. It's still kind of hot and cold, so in the daytime, it'd be warm enough to roll the window down. They know it's you. People say, that's Dolph. They didn't see you. Phone calls get made. It's so small. Everybody talking. Everybody making phone calls. And when they see you park, they just run up and handle the business. The second mistake Young Dolph made, he didn't bulletproof all his whips that he rapped. Come on, Young Dolph. You're supposed to learn from your own mistakes when you was in Charlotte. Come on, man. You can't just bulletproof a Tahoe. You got to bulletproof the Demon. You got to bulletproof the Urus. You got to bulletproof the Ferrari, the Benz, the Jeeps, all that stuff. You can't just bulletproof the bulletproof all your whips. The windows. Posting his favorite restaurants, doing drops for his favorite restaurants in Memphis. Not understanding, just like the police do, the feds,
yep,
and the police and the local police and the sheriff and the H.
Man, that's not even just Young Dolph. That's just hip hop all together. Watching the last Power episode. I'm back on Power Book 2. I'm doing reviews for that, if y'all didn't know. Oh boy, he was on the phone in the drug dealer's house, the plug's house, on IG Live. I'm like, what are you doing? So you got rappers telling their every move and things like that, and that's one thing he probably should have strayed away from. But yeah, unfortunately, not the case.
Yeah, and all of the SWAT teams, just like how they study your IG page when they trying to indict you, or they trying to bring a RICO charge, all that there, or they just watching you because you're a rapper.
All right, but I think that's all I'm gonna play here. It's about 25 minutes. Once again, it's called The Mistakes Young Dolph Made Going Back to Memphis, from El Barto Network. I thought he brought up some great points on here. But yeah, going back to the whole, going back to the Makeda's shop to get the cookies. Personally, I don't think he should have went there himself. He does make this this talking point in the video. You should have had some representation to get that for you. I know you want the cookies hot and fresh, but man, you got a target on your back. Definitely riding around very light, nobody around you, and and then everybody know you go to that spot. Why? This could have been easily avoided if you just got somebody to do that for you, low key. Like you just can't step out like that. So I don't know if it's just, was it arrogance or did he really feel safe? I don't know why he would, but yeah, that was definitely a mistake on his part. I think he also brings this guy Alberto Network. He brings up the fact that he wasn't properly protected as far as a vest, and he brought out I think it was a level 4 vest that protects against certain guns, stuff like that, and a face mask. So even though it does kind of go a little overboard, you run around in a bulletproof face mask. That's crazy, but I think some of these rappers is necessary. But it would make you look like you going in to rob the place, walking in with a bulletproof face mask. But anyway, so yeah, he brings those things up. I don't think he had a vest on, but he should have. Other than that, there's other things that that just went wrong here. I just felt like this could have been easily avoided, but that's probably all I'm gonna talk about on the Dolph case here. Y'all give me y'all thoughts as where y'all think this possibly went wrong, what he did wrong, and your memories of Dolph or whatever. If you want to post down in the comments, that's fine with me. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get into the next topic here, which is Kyle Rittenhouse. All right, so let's get into this social commentary here with Kyle Rittenhouse. Man, I know y'all don't want to hear this, but I knew he was getting off after, not because any racial things. You could bring the whole race if he was black, if he was white. That's debatable, but I knew once that gun charge went out, and the thing is that came up pretty late in this case. That's what I did not hear that brought up one time when it was this thing initially happened with the long barrel versus short barrel gun. So I think the Wisconsin law states that if it's a short barrel, it's illegal to have it under 18. So he had a long barrel rifle. If I looked that up correctly, I believe that's what it says. So that's the reason the gun charge was thrown out. That's the only thing I really saw sticking, because I'm like, what's this guy? Okay, he's 17, he has no business with a gun anyway. Why is he going down there with a gun? Now, if he just wanted to go down there unarmed, that's his business. But he going down there with a gun, which he had no business with. But yeah, according to law, there's nothing really you can do about it. But once that was thrown out, I thought that was the only thing that could stick. Once that was thrown out, I was like, this man is getting off. I looked at different videos. I don't know what happened prior to Rosenbaum, the bald-headed guy from the mental institution. He was running around with his shirt wrapped around his head, and he had his shirt off. It was the guy running after Kyle Rittenhouse in that first video. You can see it beforehand. He was talking some smack. He was like, hit me N-word, hit me N-word. I'm like, why is this white dude saying that anyway? So maybe he was a mental patient of him. But yeah, he was on something. But yeah, you had him. He was initially running after Rittenhouse, and he threw like a bag at him or something like that. And Rittenhouse turned like this, kept running. Then he turned the second time. That's when he popped him. So that one is murky. I think that one is debatable, because was it enough force? Did he feel threatened enough to really shoot this guy? Because I'm be honest, I don't know if Kyle Rittenhouse can scrap. He don't look like he can scrap, and I don't think he was looking to scrap. So he had the gun in his hand, and he chose to take that dude's life. But after that, man, that was self-defense. Let me make myself clear. Before, when dude was chasing him down, he threw the bag at him. That one is questionable. After that was self-defense. If I was Rittenhouse and I'm running with this gun and it's a dude attacking me with a skateboard. Some dude knocked me upside my head and then I'm on the ground. Another guy kicks him and has a gun in his hand. I would have popped off too if somebody was running after me, man. I'm sorry. I'm just calling it like it is. But yeah, that in that case, yes, I think that was clear self-defense on that part of the video. But the only thing I'm kind of questioning is, was it really necessary to use that gun on the first guy he shot? But anyway, the trial is over with. I do think this trial was a little weird, man. The judge was already kind of biased. It seemed like the judge was on one. And then the lawyer was on one. He had the gun pointed on like at the juror or the crowd. I would have been like, what are you doing? But anyway, so and then after the case, he's taking a picture, posted up with his homies. I'm like, man, taking a picture with the judge and everything. I'm like, man, just go home and enjoy your life. But yeah, so that was the Rittenhouse case. That's my thoughts on it. Let's go ahead and get into what I really want to get into, this Bone Thugs versus 3 6 Mafia. It is time, man. So yeah, obviously the big thing that came out of this was Bizzy Bone going off and then the fight broke out, but I'll get into that in just a little bit. But personally, me, I was rooting for Bone Thugs and Harmony. I grew up on Bone Thugs and Harmony. I wish my cousins was here. Quan, Dwayne, Keisha. Y'all know the bond we share over Bone Thugs, man. So if y'all watching this, I wish y'all was here right now to discuss this with me. But I gotta go it alone. But yeah, I grew up on Bone Thugs, and plus I like, vibing, chill, like lo-fi type music. And even though I'm not a smoker, that's mainly it's about 85% of Bone Thugs songs smoking something. But I was just like, I like it. But yeah, man. So okay, but going back to just my preference, I would have went with Bone. 3 6 Mafia is cool, but like I said, I'm not from Memphis, so I don't have that, that love for Memphis like the rest of y'all do if y'all watching from Memphis. But I just live here. I've had 3 cars stolen. It's just a place to live to me, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. But that might be a story for another day. 3 cars stolen, what? But yeah, Memphis don't play. But anyway, so going back to my preference, even though I preferred Bone Thugs, I do believe they had an advantage, but a disadvantage at the same time. So let's go into the advantage. Obviously, this was a LA crowd. The crowd was kind of weak. I looked at Fat Joe's recap. He said the crowd was on fire. I didn't see it. Maybe the audio was bad. Maybe they didn't have the crowd mic'd up well. But they didn't have a lot. They had a lot of things not mic'd up well in that Verzuz. But a lot of audio issues. So going back to the crowd, it was kind of dull. They kind of sparked up at some points, but this should have been a home court advantage for Bone Thugs because they were already tied to Eazy-E, who they were signed through back in the day. And, they have the kind of that West Coast vibe in their music as well. So they should have had the home court advantage. So that was a point in their direction. But at the same time, the disadvantage is this Verzuz, which is more geared towards commercial club type music that you can bounce to. I guess it depends if it's rap. If it's a rap Verzuz, then yes. If it's a R&B Verzuz, that kind of changes the game. But Verzuz has changed so much from just 2 people sitting down and playing their music. It's turned into this full-blown event where there's crowds. So you have the crowd participation that's a thing now. You have stage performance that's involved. So it's changed. And then you have do you have hit records? Do you have 20 hit records that you can put on blast? So I think in that arena, 3 6 Mafia had the win. I'm objective enough to say that 3 6 Mafia had this just from the hits alone. You had Juicy J, who was going to bring his solo stuff, Bands to Make a Dance. We knew who was coming with that. I wasn't really a fan of the Katy Perry song, though. I'm like, really, guy, you going a little too Hollywood right here. And then he had that suit on. He had the suit with some type of holster. He was looking crazy. But anyway, so they had those, and then, you know, just their songs as a group, the original entity, and then you had the Project Pat and Le Chat, you know, that version of 3 6 Mafia with chicken heads. So I was just like, I don't know if Bone gonna pull this out. If Bone would have went the route that the Locks versus Dipset went, the Locks, you know, they're not really a commercial group, but that stage presence and Jadakiss, for the most fact, it was just so on point that they were perceived the winner. So if Bone Thugs could have pulled it off like that, you know, they were harmonizing. That was cool. And Bizzy Bone, he had some presence on the stage as well. Definitely on the Thug Love song when he did his verse. I ain't even gonna try to do it, but yeah, he went off. But they had to go through that rocky situation where he was off stage for a brief moment, and you felt the energy just go down after Bizzy Bone had to sit out for a second after the little scuffle or fight or whatever. So I was like, man, I hope they bring Bizzy Bone back home. Then he came back out, and I was like, oh, thank God. But yeah, that kind of saved them a little bit. But yeah, they took that hit when Bizzy Bone just went off the rails. And but let's go ahead and get into the fight before I get in a round by round discussion. But yeah, Bizzy Bone, they were doing Buddha Lovers. I love this song. And he just stopped during the performance. It was like, y'all not gonna be rocking me. And after I watched his video, this man was laying on the bed on his stomach, just looking kind of crazy. But yeah, he was explaining the situation, and that when he initially said that, he was just doing it to kind of, you know, amp up the set, you know, to make it more interesting. That was his explanation. But he said as soon as Juicy J said SMD, something, and that's where things went off. And I think Fat Joe kind of cake for him too, Bizzy Bone. He said, you know, when we're in the hood and somebody says SMD, it's on, those fighting words. So maybe I can see where he's coming from, but I think Bizzy Bone could have held back, you know, to keep the bread intact, man. He almost messed up the money on that one. And but yeah, as soon as Juicy J said SMD, he threw that bottle, or he had a microphone or something. Honestly, I thought he was aiming for Gangsta Boo. I probably would have aimed for her too. She was kind of annoying. She was like, that's why y'all broke up. You know, you off your beds, all that stuff. Like, she was amping the set too, boy. She was getting well, shit. That's what we could probably get her your skin. I feel like she one of those. But yeah. And then somebody said, that's why you was gone from the group from 2 years. It was some dude. I'm not sure who it was though. But yeah. That was the whole fight. And and they said he was some people are saying he ran away. I don't think he ran away. I think one of the dudes, I think Juicy J was the first person to throw a little jab, and then somebody pulled him back a little bit, and then he just kept he got more pushed back, and he was backstepping, but I don't think he was just running away like that, as far as what I saw in the video. But yeah, man. But let's go ahead and get to this round by round discussion. But I will say, after this versus, just personally for me, I went back to listen to Bone Thugs, y'all. I always listen to Bone Thugs. I go back to it here and there. So it wasn't just when this versus popped up. I was listening to Bone like a couple weeks before this versus popped up. And but I went back to go listen to some Bone Thugs. I didn't go back to listen to 3 6 Mafia, even though they had the hits, so to say. But that's just my type of music. I'm more laid back, I'm more chill. But you know, I could turn up when I want to. But let's go ahead and get into this round by round discussion. I'm sorry, my messenger is going off, y'all. All right, going into round one, and this is where the first misstep of Bone Thugs happened. They played No Surrender. Why would y'all go with a song like that? Y'all should have went with a song with everybody knew. I think they should have went with First of the Month, which was obviously not played, and everybody noticed it. I don't know why it wasn't played. Even Bizzy Bone doesn't know why it's played. I listened to his his little interview he did with Fat Joe, and he said he don't even know why it's played. Why was this song not played? I don't understand. There was a major misstep by Bone Thugs and Harmony, and but what I would have done, they did play Resurrection Paper. Where the fiends at? That song. So I would have started out with that. I could see it like Bizzy Bone coming out, where the fiends at? And then the crowd going crazy. Money ain't a thing. Let me get me some. Let me get me some. And then they kind of medley that into First of the Month or Love of the Money. I think they should have started off like that instead of No Surrender. Even though the crowd was feeling No Surrender, but I just thought it was a bad choice to go with Who Run It that 3-6 Mafia did. So round one was Who Run It for me anyway. But I'm looking on this list and they have their winner here. This is ParlayMag.com. This is where I'm getting this round by round from. Round two, Tear the Club Up versus Body Rot. This is obviously Tear the Club Up. Body Rot is not a commercial hit. I barely even know that song. Round three, Hit a MFer versus Bone Thugs. Look Into My Eyes. Obviously, Look Into My Eyes is the one. Even though I wish they would have did Bizzy. I told you I ain't gonna try Bizzy's verse today, man. But I think they started out with Crazy's verse. And I like Crazy's verse. What makes a nigga think he can make my shit and call his to the edge, but anyway, so yeah. Speaking of Crazy, I noticed in this verses that Lazy seemed to be the front man. I always saw Crazy as the leader or front man of Bone Thugs and Harmony, but it was actually Lazy in this one. He kept the peace. He seemed to be the front man, the spokesperson of the group. If anything needed to be said. The only thing Crazy said was, I just came to rap. That was it. But yeah. But going into round four, 3-6 Mafia with UGK and Project Pat sipping on some sister versus Bone Thugs and Harmony, Buddha Lovers. Now, I like Buddha Lovers, but I got to give it to sipping on some scissor on this one. And this is where the fight happened, obviously, but I already went into that. Round five, A&T's versus Bone Thugs, Days of Our Lives. Obviously, Days of Our Lives. And I think Lazy Bone referred to this as a B-side. I'm like, man, this ain't no B-side. This is A. What are you talking about? Don't ever disrespect Days of Our Lives like that by calling a B-side track. What? Round six, 3-6 Mafia featuring Lil Flip, who came out of nowhere. I forgot all about this song, number one. And then they brought Lil Flip out like he still got the same braids. Oh man, that was a surprise right there. I got to give it to 3-6 Mafia off of that alone. Just real quick, I only listened, I think, like one album from him. That double album he came out with, where he was holding the speakers looking like this, Lil Flip. But yeah, I was bumping that album back in the day. My favorite song, We Ain't Playing. With it was him and Pastor Troy. I'm about to bust me your head. I'm about to hurt me. Oh, I'm in the club and this real. Let me stop. But yeah, good old days. But they played this versus Bone Thugs did Bump in the Trunk. Now, I'm a Bone fan and I'm familiar with that song. It's from Strength and Loyalty. I think it was 2007 or 2006. I was in college, I remember. And I bought the album. So that was one of my favorite songs on there, but I casual listeners, I don't think they know Bump in the Trunk. So I was like, y'all went with Bump in the Trunk? I don't know, Bone. But they should have left that off. Round 7, Gangsta Boo, Where Them Dollars At, which was a viable contender against his Bone Thugs, Resurrection, Paper, man. I gotta play the bite real quick. Y'all already know what I'm talking about.
Where the fiends at?
Where the fiends at? Honey, I ain't gonna get me some. Get that paper. Look, all right, man. But yeah, I choose paper on that one. Round 8, 3-6 Mafia, Popping My Collar versus Bone Thugs, For the Love of Money. Of course, there's no way you're gonna beat For the Love of Money. And then they brought Lil Eazy-E out to do Eazy-E's verse, standing on a quarter straight, slanging rocks. Oh, let me stop. Now I'm about to sing this whole discography. Round 9, 3-6 Mafia, featuring Bow Wow, Side to Side. And then first is Chameleonaire, featuring Crazy Bone. Man, this was a hard one. Look, can we call it a tie? On here they have 3-6 Mafia that won, but I like to call it a tie because I like Crazy Bones verse on Chameleonaire's They See Me Rolling, and they brought Chameleonaire out too. But no, matter of fact, I changed my mind. You know what? Since we talking about bringing the features out and surprises, just from that aspect alone, I think Bone Thugs won it because they didn't bring out Bow Wow on the other side, but they brought out Chameleonaire, who we haven't seen perform in a long time because, you know, he's involved with that, like that tech bubble stuff now out in California and stuff. And he's about investments and stuff like that. So he's on that, thing now. Round 10, Juicy J, with Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz, Bands Will Make Her Dance. You know, personally, oh yeah, and Bone Thugs did Lil Jon, I Don't Give a F. Now this one, I gotta go with a tie. Bands will Make a Dance. I know it's a hit song, but I got tired of that song real quick. But I can listen to I Don't Give a F all day, and then they brought Lil Jon out, so I kind of got to get it to them. But I'll say this one was a tie. Next half. Going into, okay, this is where they brought Project Pat out. Chicken Head versus Bone Thugs with Shatasha Williams, Thuggish Ruggish Bone. Chicken Head, even though that is a nostalgic song, ain't no way that's beaten. It's the Thuggish Ruggish Bone. The only thing they messed up on was, like I said, this audio it was kind of weird all night, and they brought out your girl that sings the song. So I'm like, I don't know what she's doing, where she's at, or was she still alive? She came out. She sounded good, but you couldn't hear her because, you know, they had the mic issues. So Thuggish Ruggish Bone takes the win there for me. Round 12, Zip and a Double Cup versus Bone Thugs, Bud Smokers Only. I think, what is Bud? Is that for smokers only? For smokers only. I think that's what that is, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so round 13, you had Outkast featuring UGK, 3-6 Mafia, International Players. I thought it took a little bit long to get to DJ Paul's part. I'm like, yeah, I could have cut to DJ Paul a little bit quicker. But yeah, speaking of DJ Paul, he had some good energy. He was bouncing in that coat all day, do the little side jump he kept doing. So I like DJ Paul's performance. But this song went up against Thug Love. Wasn't no way this song was beating Thug Love. With the Tupac verse, and even though he physically couldn't be there, he was there in spirit, man. But I caught the plane up the Cleveland late last evening. But yeah, everybody was waiting on Bizzy Bones verse. I don't know what that man be saying when he get to the final part of the verse, something like that. But yeah, you wasn't beating that. And everybody was waiting on that part. That was probably one of the top moments of this versus that verse from Bizzy Bone. Round 14, 3-6 Mafia featuring Project Pat, Break the Law versus Bone Thugs and Harmony East 1999. I'll probably go with East 1999. Round 15, Wiz Khalifa. I did not know this song at all. Featuring Juicy Day, Every Day. Or I vaguely knew it, but it would against Notorious Thugs. Another monumental song with another rap legend, and I think they're the only group to do a verse with Biggie and Pac, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so Notorious Thugs. But what I thought they could have did, there is a remix version of this. The sped up version, spit your game, grab your gat, call your click, that Crazy Bone has a verse on. They should have played this on here. I think that would have got the crowd hyped too. So they could have fit that on here somewhere. So I thought they could have played that as well. Round 16, 3-6 Mafia featuring Young Buck and 8 Ball of MJG. I'm gonna be honest, when I saw Young Buck, man, because I love G Unit, that's one of my classic albums, the first G Unit album. I saw Young Buck, I said, man, I gotta give this to 3-6 Mafia on this one. Everybody came out to do Stay Fly, 8 Ball MJG, Young Buck. And Young Buck was getting in a lot of words on this verses. I'm like, Young Buck, hey, go sit down somewhere. This ain't about you. He came in multiple times during this thing, definitely towards the end. And I'm like, okay, but go sit down somewhere. This is both those and 3-6 Mafia, not both those and Young Buck. But yeah. But Stay Fly versus Mo Murder. So Stay Fly obviously wins there. Round 17, 3-6 Mafia is hard out here for a pimp with Terrence Howard. This is where it went totally Hollywood. I'm like, some people liked it. Some people thought it was kind of gimmicky. Terrence Howard came out. The only thing I thought was missing was he should have came out in that tank top. With the curl, chains on his face. I don't know the words. I thought Terrence Howard, if he would have came in that good up, he should have committed to it 100% and came out in the tank top, man, with the little keyboard. F with me, DJ, F with me. But anyway, but yeah, just for the nostalgia purposes, this is a hard one, dude. I think just with the antics and Terrence Howard, this takes over slightly. Bone Thugs did Friday, and I love that song too. Who wanna bet, who wanna bet, you wanna bet, who wanna bet, you wanna bet, so send them out the door, to the soul, to the back of the corner row. But I think they slightly got on Bone Thugs here just with the Terrence Howard feature, man. Even though it was kind of gimmicky in Hollywood. But round 18 is where I said, all right, come on, y'all, stop this. He did the Katy Perry song. I'm like, is this a rap battle or a pop battle? Get that out of here. Dark Horse, Juicy J's feature on Katy Perry's song. Mariah Carey, Bone Thugs and Harmony, break down. Only thing that was missing was Mariah. But yeah, I thought they obviously took that round there. Round 19, half on the sack versus Bone Thugs Weed Song. Got to give it to 3-6 Mafia, half on the sack here. And round 20, which was the final round, they went with Slop on My Knob. This was not going to win, obviously, against Bone Thugs and Harmony, the Crossroads. And I could definitely see them planning this beforehand, saying, hey, we want to commemorate, the fallen rappers such as Young Dolph and other rappers who have passed. So it obviously made sense to go with the Crossroads for the final song of this. But I wondered what would have happened if the coin toss would have, because they had a coin toss to decide who was going to go first and who was going to go last, because neither one of them wanted to go. I think the argument was that somebody wanted to go last or something like this. But anyway, but yeah, everybody got on stage and they sung the song. Even some people was out of out of sync, but I'm not gonna point any fingers here. But shout out to one person I forgot to mention was Crunchy Black at this versus, and he was tripping me out. It was this one song, I forgot the moment. He was looking, I think it was Busy or Lazy that was rapping. He was just looking like, he was looking like crazy, like he wanted to eat him and take him home or something. I don't know. He looked like he wanted to devour him. But yeah, Crunchback was looking crazy, but I enjoyed him. You know, he the juking was crazy. Oh yeah, Duke Deuce came out. I forgot when he showed up, but you know, he did his little dance. I'm like, what? I'm gonna start learning how to juke. But I thought that was tight. But anyway, yeah, I think I mentioned everybody that popped out. But yeah, that was the verses. I thought it was a good versus. I thought it was neck and neck with the Locks and the Dipset. But this was definitely an entertaining versus. I watched it all the way through. And it didn't feel boring to me. Of course, I didn't watch it live, so I didn't see the issue where, you know, the DJs were warming up for I don't know how long. I know they started late. You had that, and then Bone Thugs they were waiting to get a call from one of their homies in jail so he could pray with them. I was like, okay. So yeah. But that's gonna do it for this versus here, man. I enjoyed recapping this. Y'all give me y'all thoughts. You know, if anybody wants to talk about this with me, I'm willing to get back on camera, Gil. What's up? But anyway, that's gonna do it for me, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this. That's gonna wrap it up. This has been episode 18 of the Catch Up Podcast. Another one in the bag. My next episode will probably be the year-end podcast. I got to get my albums together. It's gonna be a hard one because I didn't listen to many of them this year, but I'll have some type of top list or whatnot. And hopefully I'll be back for the year-end podcast. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for me. Make sure to like and subscribe. Y'all know what to do. What she said, and that's gonna be it for me. I'll see y'all next time. Deuces.